He has 5 Ravens out right now. Is Bob gonna transition into Vikings? I mean, I think Vikings would do fairly well. No, they would not actually. I mean, if you mass Vikings, you just think about it. Greenpine would just throw down a couple PDDs that would block all the Vikings shots, and then he would fire Seeker missiles on all the clumped up Vikings. I think Vikings would not work. Perhaps Marines would work. No, but then the Seeker missile would just blow the Bionic away as well. Maybe Thor. Thor might actually be the answer here. And yeah, it looks like Bob here is getting 2 factories down. I think he's thought this through, and he is indeed... No, he's getting tanks right now. I think, though, Thor would be a very powerful decision against this mass Raven build from Greenpine. I mean, I don't even think Bob has, or any Terran player has ever encountered this build before. 2 Seeker missiles going off into the mineral line. I think about 3 or 4 getting taken out, and an auto turret also getting laid down as well. This auto turret, surprisingly, is very resilient, has 150 HP, and does significant damage. So this build, absolutely insane. The Harvester count, both players, dead even. And it looks like, wow, Greenpine has now gotten a 3rd expansion up, and he's trying to erect a 4th as well. Notice how he's just purely mining gas at this point to fund this mass Raven build. He's not getting any other units. He is getting a command center in base as well, morphing that into orbital. 3 bunkers filled with Marines. That is his purely, that is his front wall defense, and what he needs right now is more gas. This build is so gas intensive. He needs gas like no tomorrow. He needs to get all the Vespene gas he possibly can. These are high-tech units, and I mean, if this build works, I'll be just absolutely amazed. Let's take a look at both players' APM, averaging 150 for Greenpine and 126 for Bob. He is also getting Terran building armor. Oh my goodness. He is getting building armor, and I can see why you would want to do that. Where is that? There it is. The engineering base, surprisingly, has a lot of weird upgrades. It has this upgrade right here, which does what it says right there. And it also has this upgrade, upgrade structural armor. It gives all armored buildings or all buildings to armor, and that includes, I believe that includes the defensive turrets, these auto turrets. I think they do get +2 armor. Well, we'll check it out later once that upgrade finishes. Currently there is only 1, so that would be a huge upgrade for these Ravens, making those turrets so much more resilient to everything in fact. So this build is just blowing my mind away. I have never seen a Terran versus Terran build where the player goes mass Ravens. If this works, I don't know what to say. Mirror matchups confuzzle me to no end. But let's take a look at what Bob is doing. Yeah, he is indeed getting Thors. This is the right choice, I think, to deal with Ravens. Thors are so good, and their splash damage to those Ravens when they're clumped up will be huge. But let's see what Bob is going to try to do here. He is going to try to attack this planetary fortress. Fortresses are so strong. Notice how the +2 armor has now finished. Seeker missiles going down on some of the Marauders. Oh my goodness, those Marauders getting obliterated by the combination of the fortress and the Seeker missiles. That was beautiful play right there. Great defense from Greenpine, who somehow is holding off with a pure Raven army. I don't think my amazement in this game will ever wear off. But the planetary fortress getting reinvigorated, regenerated to full health. And it looks like Greenpine is getting the final upgrades for his Ravens. The durable materials makes PDD, makes Seeker Missile last longer, as well as the auto turret. They make them all last longer, and this gives the Ravens +25 energy when they come out of the starport. So let's take a look at the income. You guys can see that Greenpine has a healthy intake of gas, 700 per minute. That is allowing him to fund dual Raven production. In fact, he might even want to start thinking about throwing down more starports here. And yes, the auto turret does get armor from that upgrade. So currently at 3 armor for that auto turret. It looks like another attack this time from Bob. Bob has Thors this time to back it up, along with Shank. Some Ravens shooting out Seeker missiles. Some of the Ravens killing themselves as well. And we have a ton of auto turrets getting thrown down. Is it going to be enough though? I'm not sure. Oh, it might just be enough. There are so many auto turrets here, and they are doing considerable damage. They do 8 damage with 7 range. They also shoot air as well. The Raven defense holds along with the planetary fortress. The fortress was in the red. Somehow the Raven defense has held off the Terran attack. Greenpine here is playing an amazing game of Starcraft, ladies and gentlemen. I have never in my year of casting StarCraft, or in my last 3 months of casting StarCraft 2, have ever seen a mass Raven build ever work in a pro level game, and this is indeed a very high level game. For both these players are obviously no noobs, they know what is up. I just don't know. I think Bob might just need more Thors at this point. I think Thors, just mass Thors. Tanks are good as well, but unfortunately they cannot shoot air. But I think Thors would be a great response. Just mass as many Thors as you can. And these Ravens are going to be hard-pressed to deal with that thick Terran armor. Let's take a look at the production tab. We have ship plating level 1 going up for Greenpine, which of course makes those Ravens a little bit more difficult to kill. A 4th starport going down, so we do have 4 starports, all with tech labs producing at a very fast rate. All of these Ravens, these are high-tech units, and it looks like Bob here might just be getting a little frustrated. I mean, I don't think you play this game if you're Bob, if you're a high-level StarCraft player, to encounter a mass Raven build. You just got to be scratching your head now, like, what the heck is going on? This is actually working. Greenpine has all of these planetary fortresses. Every single command center is a planetary fortress, save the natural. And the nice thing about this build is Greenpine can afford to do this. He doesn't really need all those orbital commands for minerals because he needs gas, and these planetary fortresses make it that much easier to hold on to that expansion. It looks like, though, Bob here getting frustrated once again, wants to push forward. There are still auto turrets here. They last forever with that upgrade. And it looks like, I mean, they have so much armor, they do so much damage. Bob here has to be careful. He doesn't want to run into range of all these turrets on the ground. It looks like the tanks are going to siege him all away. More turrets getting thrown down for Greenpine here. There are so many turrets getting laid down, but the Thors are doing considerable damage to the Ravens. Greenpine's got to be careful. His Ravens are all getting taken out by the Thors, but it looks like there may just be enough auto turrets to hold on to the defense. Oh my goodness, Greenpine is going to hold on. The auto turret somehow killing off the majority of that Terran army. What sits left is 2 tanks, 2 Thors, and 2 more reinforcing tanks. Greenpine, could he be out of energy on these Ravens? I think he still has enough. He's got to be careful, doesn't want to clump him up. Oh, he's using the PDD to block the Thor's attacks, allowing his Ravens to get into range and not get smashed by those Javelin missile launchers. And it looks like the Ravens gonna lay down more auto turrets to defend off. Oh, the Thor is still doing a lot of damage. This Thor has 9 kills. Which could be a combination of turrets as well as Ravens. Greenpine here could hold on. There are no more Thors left, and if he can just throw down a couple auto turrets, that would be great. Looks like 2 Vikings coming in here for Bob. He is going to snipe off a couple of these Ravens while Greenpine tries to fall back into range of that PDD, and got to be careful there. Don't want to lose your Vikings to those auto turrets. And this game is just getting really epic. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure who's going to win. Bob here going with the standard conventional strategy of war, the tried and the true, the proven mechanized strategy against Terran. And Greenpine here just going balls out bonkers. He's just going Ravens, man. He hasn't produced another attacking unit. Bob here still has 1 Viking left, but really Vikings just get dominated by PDD so hard. And look at all these auto turrets getting laid down. Greenpine just falling back, waiting for energy, and is going to lay down a bunch of turrets, and this is so cost effective. These turrets are just requiring energy, and they just killed off that entire Terran army. If we look at the units lost tab, actually relatively even, but I mean, hey, Greenpine's sticking true to his name, man. He is an environmentalist. He doesn't believe in wasting resources. He is recycling to the max, and he's using these Ravens to their full effectiveness, bringing the SCVs back in here to repair, and oh my goodness, Greenpine is just playing so well. It looks like Bob here might just be going for an attack to the south instead. There are currently 1, 2, possible 3, 4, 5, 1 at the gold. There are so many planetary fortresses and expansions all over the map for Greenpine. Bob is just having a hard time finding a window to attack here. Currently at 124 supply for Bob. Greenpine repairing his Ravens at 113, so the food count relatively even. Looks like either one of these planetary fortresses could very well go down.